Hi everyone, I'm Jackie Swallow, author of The Bipolar Runner, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I was lucky enough to record a podcast and video with Hemsbury Books, and they sent me some really good questions, so I thought I'd go over a couple of them here. The first one is, could you tell us a bit about your book? The Bipolar Runner is a journal-style memoir that is written over the course of 28 weeks while I was training for the Melbourne Marathon in 2023. And it sort of chronicles my ups and downs and the challenges of living with mental illness. It's quite an easy read in that it's sort of broken up into small chunks and there's no technical jargon or facts or statistics, because I believe there's plenty of other people who are more qualified than me who have already written books like that. So what I wanted to do is write something heartfelt and honest. The next question is, what made you decide to write the book? The reason that I wrote the book was because I was reading so many books about running. I was just devouring as much literature on running as I could find because I was quite obsessed with the topic. And the sort of things I was reading were ultra marathoners and people who were running across mountain tops and the sort of people who were either in the Olympics or finishing marathons in under 3 hours. And as interesting and exciting as those books are to read, I just couldn't relate to them. They weren't really speaking to someone like me who is not athletic and who suffers from mental illness and who just wants to finish a race, not necessarily win it or, beat my PR time. So I wanted to read a book that was written by someone like me for someone like me, and that book just didn't exist. So I thought, why not write it? And I did. Another question I was asked is, was the process of writing some of the more emotional passages of the book difficult for you? And the answer is yes. It was very draining and very intense. I'd be at my keyboard and my hands would just be flying over the keys and the words were just pouring out of me like I was sort of exercising demons. But that process was also really cathartic and healing. And I guess through writing the book, I got to know myself better and process things that had happened in my life and sort of understand myself more. And I would really recommend the writing process to anyone who suffers from mental health issues. Even if you're just writing for yourself, even if it's just a journal, nobody else is ever going to read it, it's never going to get published. I can guarantee there will be benefit for you in just writing for yourself. Another question was about stigma relating to mental health and how far we've come in Australia. I would say that having been very transparent about my illness at work, socially, and now publicly, I've actually had a really, really good and really positive reception. But that's not to say that that's a reflection of how we are, where we're at today in Australian society. I would say it's more of a reflection of the people I choose to surround myself with and the supportive circles that I'm a part of. I think there are still a lot of misconceptions about bipolar disorder and other mental illnesses. People say things like, they bring it all on themselves through sort of poor diet and lifestyle choices, or people who are mentally ill or come from bad upbringings. Not true. Thanks, mum and dad, for your good upbringing. They think that maybe we can't contribute to society or we can't contribute to our communities. And worse still is the attitude that mental illness isn't even real, that it's all in our heads or that we can just snap out of it, which is obviously not true. Last question was, what's next for Jackie Swallow? Well, first of all, tomorrow on the 15th of March, I am doing a book signing and book stall at This Is Me, which is an event that celebrates International Women's Day. and raises money for Full Circle Enterprises. It's a catwalk event where instead of models, we have role models, and they walk down the catwalk to a song of their own choice, and they tell their life story, talk about their journeys, and there's a lot of openness and rawness and sort of sharing and celebration of what it means to be a woman. And that's something that I did last year as a role model. So it's nice to be returning and selling my books this year, because at this point last year, I hadn't even found a publisher. So it's great to have come full circle. The next event after that I'm doing will be on the 28th of March. It is part of the Manly Writers Festival. It's called Bipolar Journeys, and it's from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. And I'm going to be discussing the writing process from a bipolar perspective with Amanda Goth, who is the author of Misfit, and also Sarah Martin, who's the author of Dear Psychosis. After that, we have on the 27th of April, I'm doing Run the Tan, which is a fundraiser for a charity called Run for Mental Health. And I've been asked to be an ambassador for that. So I've been training like mad, trying to, work on my 5K distance, and also getting into gear with the fundraising for that. The next event after that, 10th of May, will be an author talk at Emerald Library, and that's at 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So that's going to be in conjunction with their local Saturday morning park run. So the idea is park run, then breakfast at a local cafe, and then sort of migrate on over to the library for my author talk. So I'm very excited about all those events. Oh, and there was one more question that I forgot about. And that question was, how did you promote your book, and what advice would you give to other authors who are publishing their first book? Now, my first and most important piece of advice is that your marketing starts before you even open up your laptop and write your first paragraph, in that you have to decide on a clear message and who your target audience is going to be. And then everything has to be catered to that target audience with that message in mind. So that goes for your content, it goes for your writing style, the cover that you choose. And then when you're leading up to the release date and sort of after the release date, you target all your marketing directly towards that target audience. So for instance, for me, it was people with mental health issues and also people interested in running. So I'd go on Instagram and follow other people and connect with other authors. And I would say that connection between myself and other authors, that networking, has been the most beneficial thing for me. Because other successful authors with the same target audience have already been there, and they've already done the marketing, and they've got wisdom to share. And, there's no point in reinventing the wheel. So take on what they've learned, take it on board, and do what they did and follow in their footsteps. And one of the things that was interesting we were talking about on the podcast was that authors are not in competition with each other. No one's going to go, oh, will I read this book or that book? People will read this and that book. We're not in competition with each other. We should boost each other up. We should network. We should be champions of each other. And I think we really are. So I think that's a positive thing. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching my video, and hopefully that podcast and YouTube video will be out in May. All right, thanks. Bye.